of course, as others come in, they join us. We are already live on Facebook. All we need to do now is try to do our sound check. And of course, in a moment, we're going to, officially kickstart the program. And I hope that in the next couple of minutes, as it were, the honorable speaker will join the broadcast, and of course, we kickstart the program. In the meantime, I will hand over the baton to Dr. Tony Agbons to just, start with some small razzmatazz here and there before the speaker comes on. Tony, over to you, sir. You can ask some, small simple questions around, and let's start some simple discussion before the honorable speaker joins us.
Thank you very much, my brother, comrade Lamte Oriaki. Our people, I want to welcome you all to the comrade show for today. First, let me apologize. We've had to make a little adjustment on our programming. Usually, like you all know, is our usual Sunday, the comrade and friends. But for today, we are having a special guest, joining us. So hence we are here. So I welcome all the members of the Zoom floor who are here with us. So Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year to everyone all over the world that is joining us for today's special program. My brother Austin, you might want to also give your welcome address.
Thank you, Tony. I joined Tony and my brother, Comrade Lamte Oriaki, to welcome all of us once again to today's great event. Comrade and friends have become our Sunday tonic. And today is just going to be another something like the juice added to that sweet tonic. We'll be having the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly as a special guest today. Hence, we are starting slightly behind schedule. I know it's going to be a very great evening. Promises to be a moment where great ideas, questions on how we move Edo State forward will be answered today. So you are most welcome, my people. And happy Sunday again.
Thank you very much. Lamte, I see your Zoom face. You want to say something?
Yes. I want to, first, ladies and gentlemen, I want to officially, welcome everybody to this program. Today, by the grace of God, we are going to be having an interactive section with the Honorable Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, who, by the grace of God, is already right in the Zoom room with us. And of course, we have a number of persons right here. If you are joining us on Facebook and on YouTube, we enjoy you to share this broadcast. Let it get as wide as possible. One beautiful thing about this program, and of course, one of the reasons why we love our speaker, is that this is a man who is, very much willing, to interact with his people, and that is what this is all about. Bringing our elected leaders closer to the people, making the people know exactly what is happening in government. So I am happy to announce that His Excellency, the Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Marcus Onobun, is already right in the Zoom floor with us. And in a moment, I am sure he's going to be ready to start, talking to us. We have a lot to discuss today. And of course, with me to, anchor the program, of course, to do justice to the program, I have a number of persons right in the house. Of course, you've heard from Dr. Tony Agbons. We've already heard from, pharmacist Austin Iremira. This noble gentleman are, part of the comrade and friends. And of course, I call them the musketeers. Of course, we have a number of other honorable gentlemen and women in the house who are equally going to be, making huge contributions as the day go by. But just to, lay some establishment, this is a very friendly, discourse that we're going to be having with the, His Excellency the Speaker. We expect those who are going to be asking questions from the Zoom floor, to, confine themselves to just 1 minute. Of course, the speaker is we're going to meet the speaker, definitely. So it's going to tell us all that has been happening at the level of the, Edo State House of Assembly. On that note, it is my pleasure, my honor to, announce to us that we have somebody very honorable as well in our midst, His Excellency, Ambassador Matthew Biki Uwaifo. Your Excellency, sir, may we hear a word from you, sir?
Thank you very much. I think it's quite a pleasure to be here today. And thank you for bringing the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Honorable Onobun, to your program. And I wish to also thank all the other hosts and of comrades and friends for their presence here today, and all the other participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. His Excellency the Speaker, sir, can you unmute yourself? Are you ready to join us now, sir?
Good evening. Yes, I'm here and I'm ready for the meeting. Good evening, all. Sorry, I would have put on my video. I just landed Abuja, so I'm in the vehicle on my way to town. So as soon as I get in, we'll get maybe a flash of lights. So okay, that's why I'm not on video.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's quite noble. The speaker, the honorable speaker, just announced that he's on his way to Abuja. Of course, by the time he gets in, he's going to put on his video, and of course, we're going to see him. Your Excellency, are you comfortable? Are you happy that we start this program right now? Or you want to get to your destination first?
Oh, very well. I'm very comfortable. The network is quite all right. So I can hear you clearly and I can speak as well. So let the meeting continue so we don't keep every other person waiting. God bless you.
Nice one. Thank you very much. That's quite noble. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, I'm going to set the ball rolling. Okay. Like I said before, to Edo people all across the world, this is a very, of course, a friendly interaction we're having with His Excellency, the Speaker of Edo House of Assembly, Edo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Marcus Onobun. Your Excellency, sir, I can tell you, for sure that a lot of people hear of Right Honorable Marcus Onobun. May we really meet you, sir? Who is Marcus Onobun?
Well, first, let me thank every one of you. My name is Right Honorable Marcus Onobun, member representing Esan West constituency at the Edo State House of Assembly and the Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly. I currently represent the people of Esan West, and by the grace of God, I lead the first arm of government, which is the legislative arm of the Edo State government. Thank you.
Nice one. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, we are actually holding this meeting, this interaction, because a few days ago, it became 100 days, you became Speaker of the House of Assembly. Can you take us through the journey so far? How has it been?
Well, it's been interesting. Just a few days ago, we unveiled the Marcus Onobun Compendium, giving details of all that we have done in the last 100 days. Not because we have been able to do much, but we feel that we should be able to put the record straight as to what we have done, let the people scrutinize and look into what we do. Where necessary, let them advise, and where also necessary, they can criticize and also, give a sense of direction as to the way to go. Because I recognize that this position is that of representation of the people. So if you must represent the people, you must, from time to time, as a matter of fact, let them know what you are doing and also get some sense of direction as to the way to go. So that's what we have done so far.
Okay. On that note, I want to quickly turn the baton to Pharmacist Austin Iremiran. Austin, what is your question for the Honorable Speaker?
Thank you so much, Comrade Lampton, and welcome once again to Right Honorable Marcus Onobun, Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly. Without much ado, all protocol duly observed, My question border on security. Security in Edo State is becoming a huge problem. What plan has the House of Assembly got in terms of laws to help secure life and properties?
Thank you so well. The issues concerning security has become a matter of border to everyone in the states. The situation we find ourselves now is more of an invasion where strangers have come to invade our land. And as government, we must take adequate steps and responsibility in protecting the lives and properties of our citizens. Our business as lawmakers is one, to make law, represent our people and oversight. So what we have done as an arm of government is to sit down with government, the executive arm, to know what their policies and plans are towards taming this state of insecurity in those states. And what we have done, considering the last 2021 appropriation bill, which was passed into law, about a month ago, we have been able to make adequate resources available to government to see that Edo people, they are able to now sleep with their two eyes closed. You agree with me that about 2 months ago, the state government unveiled about 980 constables, where we have some recruited constables across the 192 wards in Edo State. So what we have done is to make adequate provisions for their overhead running costs and other arrangement for the logistics in terms of communications gadgets and what have you, to be able to stem this disturbing rate of insecurity in those states.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. That's very concise and straight to the point. Thank you. I'm going to quickly call on the Musketeer, Dr. Tony Agbons, to ask his question, please. Dr. Tony.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for your very erudite answers to our questions so far. My question to you, sir, is this. Like you have said, the legislature is one of the three independent arms of government as enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, how would you describe the relationship between the Edo State legislature and the executive arm of government in Edo State? How would you describe it so far?
Well, for me, this is very visible and it's quite audible that we have a very robust relationship with the executive arm of government. The reasons we're having such relationship and cordial relationship, not because we want to be a rubber stamp legislator, but we have seen a governor that is so concerned about the welfare of Edo people. I have always argued that I have never seen a man that is so concerned about the future of Edo people, a man that believes in building intellectual infrastructure for the Edo people. And for some of us who are young and the progressives, we have looked into this, the governor's plan and purpose for Edo people. And we have come to an agreement that we need to key into his developmental agenda. And by doing so, we need to have a robust relationship. That doesn't mean we don't have any reason to disagree. Anytime we disagree because we need to strengthen all plans that we both have for the development of Edo people. So far, so good. I can tell you without missing words that the relationship between the legislature and the executive in Edo State is very cordial.
Thank you so very much, sir. That's a very good one. And we are glad because your relationship, the relationship between the various arms of government in Edo State is helping to guarantee peace and stability. On that note, I want to quickly call on Amy Itoya to ask his question. Dr. Amy Itoya, are you in the house? Please unmute yourself if you are.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lante. Thank you, Senator, for your time and for the way you've made yourself available. So my question goes like this. In what area the House of Assembly is helping the current administration in area of social development and promoting fairness in our electoral system? What laws are you putting in place to ensure that?
You need to ask again. You're not audible enough.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, good. I said, in what area the House of Assembly is helping the current government to promote social development and promote fairness in our electoral system?
If I got you right, you're asking what area is the House supporting the government in area of social development?
Yes, and also to ensure fairness in future elections in Edo State.
Good. Now, if you let me take your mind back to all that happened in 2020. You will agree with me that it is only the will of the people, that brought this government back, for a second term. And so many of us have come to that reality, and we have now come to an agreement that we must support and strengthen all area of social development. If you look at, I always make reference to the 2021 budget, because this is a budget that I presided over. And we call it a budget to make Edo great again. And what we have done is to make adequate resources and budgetary provision for area of social development. And if I'll ask some of you, or maybe I'll make these documents available after this meeting so that you take your time to go through it. When this budget was submitted to the House, we took our time to scrutinize and look at areas like you asked that had to do with social development. And that is the budgetary provisions and approvals that we made. You will agree that we are in tune with the standing with the will of the people and making sure that electoral will of our people stands. For instance, again, I'd like to make a little reference to the issue of local government elections, which we are directly, kind of in control of. You agree with me that in a short while, that the tenure of the local government elections will run out in Edo State. As we speak, for the first time, we are putting in place, serious arrangements to see that there is election. We don't have staggered election, but rather election comes immediately after the expiration of a certain tenure. So if we are doing that internally, we will also give all kind of support to the National Electoral Commission to see that we don't just have, credible election. We have free, fair, and credible elections in Edo State. Because if not that, with the presidency and the INEC and the security agencies allow the will of the people prevail, I'm sure that Obaseki will not have come for second term.
That's quite incisive. Thank you very much for that, sir. I want to ask a follow-up question, but the one that borders on the issue of security. I know a question had been asked earlier on issues of security in Edo State, but the question I want to ask is this. In recent time, we've seen so much, excesses, from alleged cultists. And of course, people unauthorized carry arms. In what way is the House legislatively working with the government to see that, the unauthorized, arms bearing by the people of Edo State is nipped in the bud? Are you there, sir?
Yeah, please come again with your question.
Now, I'm just asking, let me make it a bit straight. What is the House doing legislatively to curb the excesses of cultists and unauthorized possession of firearms in Edo State?
Okay, good. Now, what we have done before now, you agree that we have a law in place, prohibiting cultism and all cult activities in Edo State. What we discovered is that there is not been that will, to drive the process of making sure that this law come to force or come to place. Now, what we are doing is to revisit and strengthen some lapses in the area of stemming the rate of cultism we experience in Edo State and the rate at which unauthorized persons bear arms in Edo State. So in a few weeks from now, I'm sure you also get a report as to what we have been able to do in that regards. But however, like I said, what we have done now is to see that we make provision for at least 10 constables. When I mean 10 constables, 10 police intelligence people that help to gather intelligence from various communities across the 192 wards in Edo State. And we're also working with the traditional rulers in this direction, to the point that when you now begin to notice notorious elements or some persons that don't mean well, you know, for the community around, at once you'll be able to communicate with those people at the various local government level and at the state level as well. And at that point, you see that before any crime is carried out, those people saddled with the responsibility, they are able to at once, you know, nip the matter on the bud. So I can assure you going forward that all those negative reports we used to get before now, as regards courtism and robbery and breaking and entry, from this January going forward, I am very sure that if not completely, it will have been drastically reduced based on what infrastructures that were put in place.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker. That's quite reassuring. On that note, I want to quickly call on High Chief Musa Ahmedu to ask his question. High Chief, sir. You can unmute yourself.
Good evening, everybody. Mr. Speaker, thank you for joining the show, and also thank the House for giving me the opportunity to ask you this question. I will not be flaunting my personal relationship with you. This is purely political. My question: how is your relationship in the fight against COVID-19? How is it working in collaboration with the executive in Edo State? Did you get that?
Please come again. Sorry, because
how is the battle for COVID-19? How is the legislative arm in collaboration with the state executive fighting the pandemic? Hello?
The COVID-19 is a monster that have come to ravage every part of the world. One thing that I can assure you, I'm a member of the COVID-19 response team, and I'm on the call on a daily basis when the reports are given by those people in charge. One thing I can tell you, I don't think there's any government, maybe Lagos, but I'm not too sure. There's no government in Nigeria as of today that have been able to tackle the response of this COVID like we have done here in Edo. As we speak, the Stella Obasanjo Hospital have been made available with quite a number of over hundreds of bed spaces and oxygen plants for any emergency. We have also hired a lot of what they call it. There's a medical term now I'm trying to recall, but what I'm trying to say is that Edo State government is well positioned, and that we have been doing a lot to see how we not just to tackle this COVID-19, but to avoid all form of hello.
We may be having a technical glitch. Your Excellency, are you there? Hello? Can you still hear me, sir?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, good. So what I'm trying to say, because networks, I'm sorry, I'm on the road like I explained before, so the network is fluctuating. But the point I'm trying to make is that At those states, we have made adequate budgetary provisions for all the funds as regards the response to COVID-19. And I'm sure that you are all aware of the enforcement that have been put in place in the last 1 week to ensure that all Edo people, they wear their face mask. And we also have the information pillar in educating all Edo people on the health protocols, social distancing, wearing of face masks. And the government in the last 6 months have also made an announcement that all public places where you have a gathering of over 50 persons should be closed down. All workers from level 14 downwards should work from home. So if you go to any government institution or offices, you will notice some level of skeletal work. All of these are put in place to see how, we can stop the spread of COVID-19. And government have also gone ahead to disinfect all public institutions. There was a time that markets were closed down and the markets were moved to some primary schools around, reasons because they needed to give the required space for social distancing and what have you. And one remarkable thing I like to make in this regards, all through we had this COVID-19 here in Nigeria, Edo State is one of those states that refuse to lock down. Reasons because we feel that, Edo is like a transit state. We cannot completely lock down and just allow our people, to suffer. But what we have done is to see how we put all the PHCs in place and get the doctors in the 18 local government and the 192 wards to follow up on all health challenges that they may
Hello. Of course, we know we're going to be having this kind of glitches, particularly when the speaker is actually traveling. Network is going to definitely fluctuate. Are you there, sir? Can you hear me? Mr. Speaker, can you hear me, sir? Apparently, the speaker has been explaining, how much Edo State government is on top of the game in trying to control the spread of COVID-19 in Edo State, and of course, deal with it head on. And so that's where we are. And of course, we are, having, some, technical glitch here. And of course, this is occasioned by the issue of unstable network in Nigeria because he's on a journey and it's expected. Mr. Speaker, are you still there, sir? Can you hear me? In the meantime, while we wait, and hopefully for the speaker to join us, I want to bring on my brother. I want to bring on Chief Musa Amedu. Chief, given your own experience as one who's a politician himself and one who is a leader, who is doing a lot to make life better for a lot of people, and looking at your own experience with COVID-19, and I'm sure you know how much Edo State probably is doing right now. What do you think, the government should do differently, or they should, intensify, put a lot more effort in as far as dealing with COVID-19 is concerned?
I think the Edo State government is doing very well, and like the speaker rightly referred to, his effort being on duty and so on is well noted. I think Edo State should not relax for 1 minute. They should continue the fight because the variant COVID-19 is going to come in a different way, different format. But with the effort and arrangement in place at the moment, I'm very sure that we'll come out in one piece.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, sir, go ahead, sir. We just that was just a little interlude to allow you. Okay. Go ahead, sir. We can listen to you.
Like I said, a lot have been put in place, infrastructure-wise, and in terms of finances and support in terms of the response to COVID-19. What I can say to you without missing words is that Edo State is one of those states in Nigeria that is on top of these issues as regards COVID-19.
Thank you very much. On that note, Mr. Speaker, thank you so very much. I want to quickly bring on Ajibola, Anthony Ajibola. We don't know. Sorry. Well, Anthony Ajibola, ask your question, sir. I was just carried away to begin to speak, used to that. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Lamte. Thanks to the Honorable Speaker for honoring the invitation. My question is pretty simple. Mr. Speaker, there is this general perception that the legislatures, they are there for themselves. My question is, how are you working towards changing this narrative that the legislature are working for the people and not for themselves? And how is this being communicated among the members in the House?
Well, thank you for that question. If you go through my profile, you will understand that I mentioned in my write-up that about 2 weeks after I became Speaker, I flagged off a mentorship program tagged the One Youth, One Legislator. This mentorship program is a program to get the youth to be in our business. When I mean be in our business, we are elected representatives of the people, and the people need to always know what we do and be always get reports from us from time to time. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So they need to get reports from us from time to time. So what myself and my colleagues we have been able to do is to have some kind of a feedback arrangement from our various constituency to give them reports as to what we do on a monthly basis. So we have structured our oversight and other running of the House in such a way that at least every legislator must visit his own constituency once in a month, give us report back in the House as to what they do. Now, not just to go and brief the people, but they also come back to give us reports as regards the people's perspective or perception on how they see us. So what we are trying to gradually change the narrative on how the people see us and how we relate with our various constituencies. So for us, we represent the people. We are there to oversight and of course to make laws. So we are not there to, like they say, all the belief or to just put monies in our pocket, but rather we are there to do the work we are elected to do. And that is what the House under my leadership have been able to do in the last 3 months to get the people to have faith and believe in the legislator in Edo State. And by the grace of God, going forward, I'm sure that by the time we are giving our 6 months in office reports, you will see that the people's confidence in the House would have greatly increased.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. As a follow-up to that particular question, sir, 14 ex-legislators elect, all elected the same time you were elected. They gambled, they lost out. Their constituencies are not being represented in the House. Their story is a familiar tale to you. If you have your way and the Lord grants you the power of mercy, will you absorb them and inaugurate them? Secondly, as Speaker, how are you ensuring that their constituencies are carried along?
Well, first, let me say that we have 24 constituencies in Edo State, and the 24 of us were elected. Unfortunately, 14 others refused to show up to do the work they were elected to do. As we speak, those seats have been declared vacant. I am a law-abiding citizen of our dear state and our dear country, and there's no law like you asked, if instructions are given by the chief law officer, whether at the state or national, as a public officer, that I will not obey. But what I can tell you in this case is that those seats have been declared vacant. If you ask me, I'll just, if it were possible, not that without being, anyway, I wouldn't like to speak on issues that are in court, but I can tell you that we are kind of overworked, as the job that is meant for 24 elected officers. Just 10 of us are now in the business of doing the work of the house. So you can see the stress that we are all going through. If we have our way, or if I have my way, by tomorrow, I can tell you that, oh, we'll get the 24 members back to do the job they are expected to do. Then as regards the representation of those various constituencies that their members didn't show up, once you are elected you are elected from a particular constituency, the 10 of us, we are carrying out the business of the house, and I can say without missing words that the business of the house is up and running.
Very well. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker. On this one, I want to quickly call on Dr. Johnson Udibo. He's got a question too. Dr. Johnson, sir.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can, sir.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, thank you, Your Excellency, for joining, and also thanks to Comrade Lamte for giving me the opportunity to be here in the show. I think my question follows suit with that of follows from that of Chief Amedu on COVID-19, and I'm very happy your response to that question. Really great. You mentioned that you're part of the response committee or the response team in terms of COVID-19. My question would be, how would you use your office to make sure or ensure that information gathering is efficient and good enough, for whatever response that we're giving to COVID? Because it's all about information and research. And I think that with your good office, hopefully you use probably, I don't know how, in terms of research, what COVID is, what causes it, before we start applying remedies, closing the economy, or probably shutting down the state. Of course, this impacts people, impacts the state, the economy of the state. But I'm also happy that you said that Edo State is one state that didn't close down completely. When I hear this speaking from my experience, then it's something that really tells me that, okay, people are looking at it, but how are we really sure that you still do more research and your whole team, just to make sure you apply correct remedies for whatever actions you are putting in place? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so well. First, on the issue of information, we have what we call the communication pillar of the COVID-19 response team. They are responsible for all form of communication as regards this COVID-19 response. And I can tell you that all the medical experts we have in Edo State, the CMD, UBTH Hospital, the CMD, Dr. Okogbeni, ISTH, the PS Ministry of Health, and other health experts, they have been, in fact, they basically on a daily basis, they sit down to review, process all information and the experiences they have had with COVID-19 patients, to see how, they bring about, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you,
sir.
Okay, because I'm hearing my voice like it's reoccurring. They bring about complete remedy to the situation we have here in Edo State. Although I would like to go straight to the question like you asked, what are we doing to support the government as a legislator? I have always said that our business is to make the required budgetary provision, because the government may have very beautiful and laudable plans. If there are no provisions, it means that they are running foul of the law. And what we have done, like I said, having a robust relationship with the government is to look at all their good plans and good deeds as regards the response to this pandemic. And all approvers to that effect, the House have given a nod, and the government, we are happy that the government is doing what they are expected to do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so very much. I'm going to ask you this, sir. This one is a bit on a lighter note. I'm not putting you on the spot, but you may be on the spot with this question. Sir, there is a huge clamor that the next governor of Edo State should come from Edo Central. That is from among the Asian people. As the president number 3 man in Edo State political hierarchy, and an Asian man yourself, do you consider and fancy your chances of being the next governor of Edo State? Particularly when we have a lot of favorable comments on Facebook and on social media about you as erudite, young, intellectual, cerebral, great speaker, probably one of the best we've ever had. How do you fancy your chances, or do you consider that at all?
Well, first, I see myself as an Edo man, and I'm a strong supporter of our governor, Governor Noregase Obaseki. I think personally that it's too early to talk about who succeeds him, but rather let's keep our eyes on the ball and see that he succeeds, he's able to bring about the dividend of democracy, and he's able to, give to the people all that he promised to render to Edo people for a second term. I believe that fortune smiles on those who are prepared. And for me, as an Esa man, as an Edo man, there's no height that anyone cannot attain. But first things first, don't forget that I contested to be a member of the Edo State House of Assembly. And for once, I never believed that, I will be speaker. Also putting into consideration that I am a first timer in the House. And somehow, some things happened. My colleagues saw me as someone that can represent them, and they choose me to be the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly. So for now, I think we should just make the concentration. It should be about the development and what the governor can give back to the Edo people, and we shouldn't distract him as to who succeeds him, at least for now.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Of course, that's a very beautiful response, highly political, and great. I'm happy, it's beautiful. We've been talking to, men have been asking questions, and of course, we've got some women in the house. I want to quickly call on Sosa Edogiawere to ask her question.
Thank you very much.
Or Lady Sosa Edogiawere, sorry, ma'am. Go ahead.
No problem, not at all. Thank you very much, Comrade Lamte, and thank you for having me here today. I don't have a prepared question, but my question will follow on from someone who asked something about the social enterprise. I'm surely concerned about the youth of our states. What legislation would you have in place to protect our young youths in our states, to prevent them from actually getting involved in courtesan? How would you prevent that? Because that has become an issue in Edo State. It's something that is quite personally concerning to me, and I think it's concerning to all mothers in Edo State as well.
Are you there, sir? Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, please come again with that question.
Go ahead, man. Just summarize, Lady Sosa.
Okay. So my question is relating to social enterprises. I know someone asked a question in relation to that earlier. I wanted to know what legislation would you have in place to prevent our youths getting into courtesan in Edo State, which I think that has become an apparent problem in Edo State. And as a mother, and I believe every mother in Edo State is quite worried about children getting into courtesan in Edo. What legislation would you have in place to actually tackle that issue?
Okay, thank you. I I'm an advocate of youth inclusion, youth inclusiveness, youth mainstreaming, and youth development. And I'm a youth as well, so it aches my heart to hear that youth are involved in some kind of social vices in the society. But one thing I can assure you is that we have put adequate measures in place to see that our youths are engaged, not just engaging them by getting them some menial jobs, but we have a governor that believes in intellectual development. And that is what we are doing at the moment, training and retraining our youths and reorientating them. We have tried to now recalibrate the system in such a manner that at least we'll be able to get in more youth into government business, and as well, help to enhance their capacity and their personal development, so that they don't just become employers, but they too, in turn become they are able to engage some other youth. So in taking these steps, you will agree with me that like they say, the devil's an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So if they are busy, they will not have time to be involved in all manner of social vice. So we have put all those infrastructures in place, and we have been able to make adequate budgetary provision to the government to train and retrain our youths across the states.
Thank you very much. That's quite reassuring. I want to quickly bring on, we have very few minutes to left, but I have two ladies that must ask their question before we call on His Excellency Ambassador Matthew BQ Waifu to give us some words of wisdom by way of a vote of thanks. But I want to call on Dr. Loretta Ogboroko to ask a question, please.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I am here. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Thanking the speaker for joining us today. It's an example of community engagement, and I thank everybody here for taking out time, despite their busy schedule, to tabulate matters of governance as it affects our state. It shows that this followership is awakening and being vibrant. So there is a national issue on board. It's been trending, and I think it's very important. And you, Mr. Speaker, you are a member of the National Speakers Conference. I want to find out, what are your thoughts on restructuring of the country? And I know that certain parts of the country have been agitating for it. We have the Midwest movement, we have Odua, we have all these bodies. But what are your thoughts on restructuring, and how would you think that if Nigeria were to restructure, what bearing would this have on Edo as a state and us as a people? Where would we find ourselves if restructuring was to happen along certain lines?
Thank you so well, Madam Loretta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We can answer the speaker.
Yeah.
Good. Go ahead, sir.
For me, it's a very sensitive one. And honestly, I would love to bear my mind on what I think personally. But at the same time, I'm speaking on this program as the Speaker of the State House of Assembly. And I understand that there are some positions that we have taken. We are just developing that process. I would just appeal to the House to please pardon me if I'm unable to take a proper position, because it will be like I'm kind of concluding on some work that we are doing in this regard. But I'm sure that by the time we're having our next interaction, I should be able to brief you on the position that we have taken as a state. Thank you.
So summarily put, we have a conflict of interest at this time in respect to answering this question.
Not conflict of interest. I just told you that we have the process in place already, and we are just trying to, we are in the process of concluding the way to go. right? So I wouldn't want to just now make my personal position to be that of the position of all Edo people. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker. Well, that's, I think we understand that. So I want to quickly call on Isoken, Ambassador Isoken Ibie. Ambassador Isoken Ibie is a Edo Cultural Ambassador to Canada. Are you there? You can mute yourself and talk to us, man. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So sorry I can't have my video on because of where I am right now. But I would like to quickly, and thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for coming out to have this conversation with us, Edo lights in the diaspora, because this is something that is really, really dear to our hearts. And it can be sometimes very troubling when we see some of the issues going on back home, and yet we don't have tangible solutions to it. So my question for you this afternoon would be, what structure do the legislative arm of Edo State has in place to hold the executive arm accountable to proper governance, of the states? We want to take, looking at what happened in the United States, for example. If such an incident had happened in the States, for example, what will the legislative arm do to make sure they bring sanity to the state, and at the same time give the people hope to believe in the structure and the legislative arm of the state? Thank you. Hello.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
I have mentioned earlier that as legislators, our functions are basically that of representation, oversight, and lawmaking. We make laws for the good governance of our dear states, oversight the government on those areas we have powers to appropriate or legislate on, and of course, represent our people. It will interest you to know that the legislature is the first arm of government, and we are the only arm of government that have the powers to check either the executive or the judiciary. We are all aware of what's been happening around the world. I can tell you that the Constitution had put in place the required structure to ask questions where necessary if the need arises. And we don't expect that we get to a point where we need to now call whoever is in charge to questioning when the need arises. But I can assure you that as representative of the people, we have the will and we have the courage to do so when such opportunity arises. But with what we have so far in those states, we have a cordial relationship with the government, not because we want to collect whatever and put in our pockets, but we see and agree that the governor we have in the states means well for the people. And for those of us who are progressives, we believe that we should give him the required support. But if there's any government, be it now or later, that tries to undermine the will of the people, we will certainly invoke our legislative powers and do the needful.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. That's quite incisive. Your Excellency, I want to toe the line yet again, a security line, as it were. Right now, a lot is going on in the western part of Nigeria, particularly with your state and Ondo State and the news, with the issues that have to do with the headers. Some people, a lot of people refer to them as Fulani headsmen. And of course, the excesses of some of these, misguided headsmen, it has been a huge issue to the Nigerian people. And of course, a huge issue to Edo State. Legislatively, what is your arm of government doing to protect Edo people from the excesses of killer headsmen?
Well, this is another sensitive issue. but it borders on security. And I mentioned earlier that what we're experiencing now, whether in Edo or any part of the country, is a case of what one can call an invasion, where you find some strangers coming to take over your lands. People are unable to go to farm and all of that. And one of the government's responsibility is to protect lives and property. And as a house, we have given the required support, legislative support to the executive to see that all resources, I mean, all support that they need, legislative support that the executive needs, you know, to be proactive and stem this state of insecurity, that we have given all those approvals and nods to the executive in such regards. And we have also tried as much as possible to reach out to all our various communities and traditional rulers to see that everybody in the various communities, they are able to know their neighbors and know those people that lives around them. The issue of the killer herdsmen, like I said, is a very sensitive, you know, issue, because that is what we are told, that these people, they are herdsmen. For me, herdsmen are not supposed to be kidnappers. Herdsmen are not supposed to be armed robbers and what have you. But what we see now is that they come in the guise of herdsmen to perpetrate every form of crime and criminality within our society. But I'd like to conclude this response this way, that whether they are herdsmen or they are whatever, wherever they are from, whoever doesn't mean well for Edo citizen is against us.
Okay, we may be having a technical glitch. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Your picture was frozen for a moment. Okay, I think that the speaker completed that response quite well. That whoever doesn't mean well for Edo people, you know, is against the government of Edo State. And on that note, Your Excellency, just before I bring on somebody, a very special personality who's here in our midst, and somebody I'm sure you yourself would like to meet, I want to ask you this very light one. From all of these legislative duties, how do you unwind? I mean, people just want to know how, the soft part of the speaker. How do you unwind?
Well, thank you so well. I try as much as possible to find time to unwind. But it will interest you to know that representing the people, speaking for the people, standing in for the people is something that is some kind of in my DNA. And when I'm not playing politics, I'm not happy. When I'm not representing the people, I'm not happy. I've known the likes of Amedu, you know, from in the last 14 or 15 years. And I'm sure he will not be surprised that, I'm sure he won't be surprised that I'm here addressing the Edo people across the globe today. For me, yes, I enjoy what I do. I'm not complaining. Sometimes you get some kind of overwhelm, but you just, you know, find a way to get into some sporting activities, get your brain relaxed, and you know, you are back to the game again.
Lovely. I want to introduce to you somebody, I don't know if you've met him, but this person is somebody who's very dear to all Edo people. He's an Obasekist, you know, without doubt, and a very strong one at that. He is also one of the pillars of the Comrade Show, and one who is, a light leading the way for a lot of what we do. He's a very respectable person. He is Ambassador Matthew Biki Uwaifo. I'm going to call on His Excellency Ambassador Matthew Biki Uwaifo to, of course, give us a last word. And I want to appeal to those whose hands are raised that we actually programmed this meeting to last for about an hour, which has actually happened. And then, of course, I'm going to appeal to His Excellency, the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, that we would like to regularly have interactions like this, not just with him alone, but with other, members of the House and, of course, other players in the government of Edo State. We do this to try to bring the government closer to the people, particularly those in the diaspora. On that note, I want to call on His Excellency, Ambassador Matthew Biki Uwaifo. Your Excellency, sir.
Good evening, everybody. All protocols observed. I can say without doubt from my mind, the first 100 days of the Honorable Speaker has been very eventful, and there are a lot of results to show on the ground. And it gives, it makes the older generation happy to see that at least not all youths are irresponsible, that when certain youths also come into power, they can bring dignity, they can bring purpose, and they can bring transparency and accountability to their offices. So of this, we are very, very proud of you, Honorable Speaker Onobun. Now, I want to thank everybody on this program for your time. And I want to thank the Comrade Show host, Lamte Oriati, for the beautiful work you are doing. And I want to equally use this opportunity to bring it to the attention of the Honorable Speaker that right now the Comrade Show is working on lighting Edo State up. It's a project of the Comrade Show. And we are inviting you, sir, through your office to please key in to this program. It's provision of light to hotspots all across Edo State by the Comrade Show. Finally, I want to thank synergy. I want to thank you for the synergy between the House of Assembly and the governor, because
Your Excellency, you can unmute yourself. I think you are muted.
Okay, I've unmuted myself.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, please?
We can hear you, sir. Go ahead, sir.
What I was saying is this, that it gladdens the heart of all Edo-lites everywhere, both in the diaspora and at home, to see that the House of Assembly is working in synergy with the governor. Because, like you rightly pointed out, we all voted for Obaseki because we believe that he, through his mega agenda on this second term, can take Edo State to the next level. And the fact that you are in cooperation or synergy with the administration of Governor Obaseki and the governor himself does not mean that you are a rubber stamp, as you rightly pointed out. There is no need for acrimony when we all speak with the same voice and have the same focus and have the same mission. So I want to thank, on behalf of all Edolites, we want to thank you, and in extension, thank the House of Assembly for the workload they are putting on themselves during this period because of the absence of 14 legislators whose seats have been declared vacant and whose cases are in the Federal Court, Abuja, waiting for a judgment. Thank you very much for your time, sir. And like the host said, Lamte Oriaki, we will be happy if in future we can also have other members of the House of Assembly, like the Chief Whip, Herio Huabo, coming to explain to us the functions of his own office also. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so well. God bless you, sir, for I'll make myself available anytime, and I can assure you as well that anytime you want my colleagues from the Deputy Speaker to the least member of the House to come here to also render their account of stewardship, they will make themselves available anytime, any day. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, we are very proud of you. We are glad to have had you. And of course, our relationship is going to build from here going forward. And of course, making Edo State great is a task for all of us. You are involved in it. We are all involved in it, and we are glad. And to everybody who's joined us on Facebook right now while we are live, and those who are going to watch this program later, we want to say a very big thank you to you all. And of course, let us join hands together to keep on supporting Edo State. To everybody who is right here in the Zoom room with us, thank you so much, all of you. Wonderful people. My comrade and friends, of course, I'm going to ask you guys to, of course, see, because this is your program actually, to just say a parting words. You know, Austin, please, I must bring you Austin Remira. You can unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you, comrade. I was carried away. I thought I was unmuted already. It's been a lovely moment with the speaker. The last time I saw a youthful person in the Home of Affairs was when Dimeji Bankole was speaker, but we knew how that went. But having listened to you this evening, I'm proud, I'm happy. I see a ray of hope. And then I say thank you so much for finding time to come to us. In everything you do, keep Edo and Edo people as a focus. God bless you. Thank you. And our viewers, thank you for joining us, our usual Sunday tonic. Hope to see you again next Sunday.
Thank you so much. And I quickly want to bring on Dr. Tony Agbons, the second musketeer.
Thank you very much. I want to join every one of us on this Zoom floor. Mr. Speaker, I'm really highly elated. You are very cerebral, youthful. I think people have said it all. We are so hopeful and excited for it's a new generation. I just thank you for the eloquent way, passionate way you spoke from the heart. Hopefully we get you back as well in the future to be with us on the Comrade Show. Thank you, sir, for coming. And to everybody, thank you so much. Our viewers, those that were making comments, I'm sure we'll do this again. Thank you all so much.
And finally, I will equally bring on, well, she's not a musketeer. She's an associate musketeer. We are still debating that, though. Dr. Loretta Agboroko. Unmute yourself, man.
I'm an associate musketeer without a musket. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you. For those here, I want to say well done. For Edo people, Edo State indigenes listening across the world, I want to say that over the past few months to years, Edo State is blazing the trail of setting a new pace for democracy as it has never before been seen in Nigeria. And it is not just now restricted within Nigeria, it's spilling onto other parts of the African continent. I find friends asking me, oh, are you from Edo State? And whenever I say yes, they say we are very impressed with the way your leadership is responding to your followership. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to enjoin you people to keep this up. And to every Edo State indigene, I want to say, remain awoke. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On that note, people of Edo State, may God bless you all. May God bless Edo State. May God bless the government, the governor and the government of Edo State. And of course, may God bless Nigeria and Nigerians. My name is Comrade Rt Hon. It's been a comrade and friends with the Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly. Have a good night.